Servus, that's hello in Bavarian for the non-locals. This is your local garden Staudinger from Munich back again. I'm in Germany, so all my timings are for the Northern Hemisphere. If you're gardening down south, just flip the calendar by about 6 months. The first part, I'm never planting these 7 plants again, was a big hit. Thank you for the massive feedback and all the comments, and because so many of you wrote, you absolutely have to do a second part. Well, alright, here it is. Because what I've learned over the years is this. Not every plant that looks beautiful fits into a peaceful life in the garden. Some behave like uninvited guests, friendly upon arrival, and as soon as you look away, they clear out the pantry. So today we're talking about the plants I would never plant again, based on experience, conviction, and sometimes just because I'm tired of arguing with them. Japanese knotweed, the final boss of the flowerbed. At first it looks harmless, a bit like bamboo but more delicate. Then it shoots up, and you think, look at that, it's growing nicely. And then you can practically hear it growing. Taller, wider, denser every day. It pushes under fences, under patios, through paving, and when you cut it down, it thanks you with 10 new shoots. Japanese knotweed is officially considered invasive, and rightly so. Its roots reach meters deep into the earth. Once it's in your garden, it stays forever. If you want to get rid of it, you don't need a spade. You need an excavator and strong nerves. I planted it once, and today I know the knotweed is actually planting you. Bamboo, beautiful until it greets the neighbors. Bamboo is a classic for garden romantics. It stands for tranquility, for Asia, for the gentle rustling in the wind. But if you plant the wrong variety, Zen quickly turns into fury. Because not every bamboo stays where you put it. The so-called running bamboos send out underground runners, meters long, silent, and efficient. And before you know it, your bamboo is growing through your neighbor's lawn. Only clump-forming varieties behave themselves. But anyone who plants the wrong bamboo learns to appreciate the word rhizome barrier all over again. I'll be honest, once you've managed to control it, you feel like a warrior who has won against a green empire. Ivy, Ephew, the Silent Conqueror. I like ivy, but only as long as it stays where I want it. Ivy is elegant, evergreen, and robust. It climbs, covers walls, provides shade, all without much care. Until one day it decides it wants more. It creeps over walls, embraces trees so tightly that they can barely breathe anymore. It moves into cracks under roof tiles, and when you want to get rid of it, you find yourself grappling with roots that look like steel cables. Ivy is like an old friend you never clearly told where the boundaries are. A blessing at first, a lesson in consequence in the end. Ground elder, Giersch, the little immortal. Ground elder is the chameleon of weeds. Delicate, green, unassuming, and invincible. You chop it, you mulch it, you beg it, but it just laughs at you. It sprouts anew even from a tiny piece of root. Sometimes I think if life on Earth ever begins again, ground elder will be the first thing to grow back. I've tried everything. Foil, bark mulch, hours of weeding. But in the end, I gave up and decided to just accept it as a flatmate. You can eat it, of course, as spinach, pesto, or soup. But no human can digest that much ground elder. It's tough, it's loyal, it stays. Butterfly bush, summerflider, the deceptive beauty. Hardly any plant is praised as often as the butterfly bush, Buddleia davidi. Butterfly-friendly, easy to care for, a dream bloom for dry locations. And yes, it attracts butterflies, but at the same time, it spreads as if there's no tomorrow. Its seeds fly far, germinate in wall cracks, in gravel areas, and quickly become meter-high bushes. In some regions, it is now considered invasive. It displaces native species that could truly offer something to our local butterflies. I'm not saying it should be banned, but if you plant it, please do so responsibly, and keep pruning shears constantly at hand. Trumpet vine, trumpet in bloom, the climbing queen with delusions of grandeur. I remember exactly when I planted my first trumpet vine, Campsis radicans. It looked like something out of a garden magazine. Bright orange flowers, exotic, magnificent. But underground, it operates like a secret construction company. It sends out runners that pop up in places you never wanted them. It climbs over walls, undermines paving, and if you don't cut it back regularly, it turns your house into a jungle. Yes, it's beautiful, but it requires space, patience, and control. In my garden, it overdid both. I eventually felt like it was directing me, not the other way around. The lupine, the temptress in blue. When the lupine blooms, it looks like a painting. tall, majestic in all colors, and yet it holds a surprise, because not all lupines are the same. The large-leaved lupine, Lupinus polyphyllus, also called garden lupine, is a real beauty, but it self-sows, multiplies uncontrollably, and spreads in meadows where it doesn't belong. It changes the soil, making it too rich in nutrients for native wildflowers, thus displacing the plants our insects truly need. However, not all lupines are problematic. The narrow-leaved lupine, Lupinus angustifolius, or the sweet lupines used as protein crops or green manure are completely harmless. They behave, do good for the soil, and don't spread like wildfire. The garden lupine, on the other hand, is like a charming party guest. It brings the mood but leaves you with the chaos the next morning. Oregon grape, Mahoney, the spiky hedge illusion. For a long time, the Oregon grape, Mahonia, was the insider tip for low-maintenance hedges. Evergreen, tolerant of pruning, and supposedly robust against everything else that causes trouble in the garden. In reality, it is a silent loner. Its spiky leaves ward everyone off, not just you when pruning, but also bees, butterflies, and neighbors. It offers little food. Its yellow flowers are pretty, but ecologically almost worthless. Added to this are its runners, which like to push their way under the fence. And if you want to prune it, you'd better wear leather gloves. I eventually replaced it, with serviceberry, cornelian cherry, and privet. Now it's buzzing again, and no one stabs you during the thank you song. False Shamrock, Mexicanischer Klee, the camouflage artist with the poison club. I admit I was enchanted. Those deep red leaves, the golden yellow flowers, a plant that looks like it swallowed light and spat it out again. The false shamrock, botanically Oxalis triangularis, is an eye-catcher in any pot, but woe betide you put it in the flower bed. It self-sows, forms small tubers in the ground, and reappears again and again, even when you think you've removed it. And as a bonus, it is poisonous to cats and dogs. That makes it doubly difficult for pet owners. In the pot, it's a gem. In the garden, however, it's a diva with an escape talent. Beautiful to look at, but better kept at a distance. Jerusalem artichoke, topinambur, the vegetable that never stops. I like Jerusalem artichoke. It's healthy, winter hardy, and its flowers look like little suns. But once you plant it, it grows and grows, and the next year it keeps growing, and the year after that, it's still growing. It's a prime example of too much of a good thing. A plant that quickly turns a flower bed into a plantation. It tastes wonderful, but eventually you ask yourself, what do I do with all these tubers? Jerusalem artichoke isn't a mistake, it's just too enthusiastic. A bit like a friend who invites you to move house every single week. Every one of these plants has its strength. They're not evil, they're just intense. And in the garden, where balance is everything, intensity can quickly become a challenge. I always say, plants are like people. Some are a perfect fit for you, and some only show you where your boundaries are. Now it's your turn. Which plant has already driven you to the brink of despair? Write it in the comments. Maybe it will end up in part 3. If you liked this video, leave a subscription, activate the bell, and watch my video afterward. 15 perennial vegetables you only have to plant once. See you soon, your garden Staudinger from Munich. And don't forget, sometimes the most beautiful thing in the garden is what's simply allowed to grow in peace.